Welcome to 303 BPM, keeping the pulse on Denver's underground EDM scene. I'm your host, Evening Bass, and this is the sound of the underground. Today, we've got a special guest who's all about bringing the rhythm and energy wherever she goes. Straight out of Albany, she got her first controller in high school the same year Under the Electric Sky documentary dropped, and that film lit the spark. Growing up on house music with her dad, she found her sound in the pulse of the underground, blending house, baile funk, bass house, and a little bit of bass and trap to keep the crowd guessing. From feeling like an outlier to becoming one on purpose, she's here to show that standing out is the point. Make sure to stick around until the end to hear a sneak peek of her new song, Workin'. Welcome to 303 BPM, DJ Outlier. Okay, testing. Is it DJ Outlier or Outlier?
It's interesting. I used to go by DJ Outlier, but now I just leave it as Outlier. But my Instagram says DJ Outlier.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yay. Well, let's get into it. So let's start off learning a little bit more about you. Where are you originally from?
Yeah, I'm from upstate New York originally. I always say upstate because there's a whole upstate, downstate,
You're like
debate.
the third person I've interviewed this season who's from upstate New York. That's fucking hilarious.
Something about that East
I'm
Coast.
so fucking dead. Wait, okay, where are you from? Like
Albany,
okay,
the
you're from
capital.
Albany. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
So real upstate.
Yeah.
Because I had someone on who was from like the coast above New York,
Okay.
which is considered upstate too. So
It's so wild because it's like if you live in New York City, anything north of Yonkers is upstate. But then it's like, I went to school a little bit in Poughkeepsie for college, and it was like that was downstate to me, but then upstate to the people who lived in Long Island. So everybody's like, where's the line? And I'm just like, I'm just going to say.
That's so funny. So tell me a little bit about Albany. Did you spend most of your childhood there and then like leave for college, or what was that like?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Albany. My dad's family and my mom's family are both from downstate, but my dad's family lives in Washington Heights, and so we would go down there every weekend. So it was kind of this cool thing of like you could go and enjoy the city, but still have a good lifestyle in upstate because it's not as expensive, right? But yeah, I grew up there all my life, and then for college I went down to Poughkeepsie, and then I transferred back to Albany, just because I went to a private school, and I was like. It was, I would say, a culture shock for me to go from a public schooling system to a private college. It was just like, whoa, I'm living a completely different lifestyle than people from Connecticut or Long Island or wherever, the tri-state area. So yeah, it was interesting growing up there, but definitely appreciate like what it gave me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know that, I've not spent a whole lot of time on the East Coast at all, especially like New England area. So it sounds to me like there are two different lifestyles and you either have money or you're a normal person. That's kind of what I'm gauging from my conversations with people from the East Coast. So
yeah,
I'm sure it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it definitely is weird because it's like there's a lot of old money, I think, in New England and New York in general. And so it's like upstate New York is the place you go if you want your money to go further. But I feel like if you're from like Long Island or New York, like, usually there's money, maybe not New York so much, but Long Island, there's usually money in the family. And so it's just interesting because Albany would always advertise itself as a place that's close to other places. Like you're 2.5 hours from Boston, you're 2.5 hours from New York, you're 4 hours from Philly, you're 6 hours from DC. Like if you wanted to change your physical and built environment, you could within like a 4-hour drive. If you wanted to rent out a cabin and stay in Vermont, you really could. Like, and I think that was the cool part about living there was I personally got bored, obviously, of the place that I lived in for a little bit. But it was nice. Like I could go to raves or shows in Boston and drive back the same night. Like I could take the train to New York, come back the same day, So I do miss that aspect of it. I think the interesting part about Albany is, unfortunately, it's a dying city. a lot of people move to the suburbs because that's where the money's
Mm.
at. If you ever heard of Saratoga Springs, that's where the racetrack is.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's old money there, lots of wealth. So
Mm.
Albany, a lot of people were moving out of, and
Kind of into the burbs.
yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Interesting.
there's a lot going on, but
A dying city? I've
yeah.
never heard of that before. Honestly, low key sounds kind of like Denver.
Mm, mm,
Sounds like
yeah.
when COVID hit, Denver just fucking died,
Mhm.
and it's only now inhabited by homeless people. At least that's what
Right,
it feels like going
right.
downtown. Is that we've lost so much life.
That's what I've heard when I was asking people about Denver, because I moved to Denver sight unseen. I basically
Mm.
signed the lease and I was just like, let's just see what happens.
Love
A
it.
lot of people said 16th Street Mall was popping before the pandemic. Like a lot of people would go there. Obviously, I didn't know what that was. I was like, okay, that's great. And then after the pandemic, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, couldn't sustain the rent there or whatever the case may
Yeah,
be, and couldn't be there. So it's just interesting how the pandemic had this shift for
yeah.
a lot of cities, even what I would classify. I mean, Albany is like 95,000 people. It's the metro is 1 million. So to
Mhm.
me, Denver is a bigger city, but
Right.
it's just interesting how every city had some sort of like
Like a
effects from the pandemic.
huge change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, before COVID, Denver was like really becoming one of like the tech capitals, or like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of companies were moving here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like one of the biggest work from home jobs now. So then when
Yeah.
COVID hit, everyone started working from home, and then
Mm.
the downtown lost like so many people that usually go eat at lunch,
Right.
downtown around the corner, get coffee or
Mm.
whatever. But anyway, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go to school after high school?
So I spent 2 years at Marist, which is down in Poughkeepsie, and then I transferred back to SUNY Albany. And then I graduated in 2020, and I was freaking out with my bachelor's. I was
Oh
like,
no.
"This is a horrible job market to be in."
Yeah.
Yeah, my last semester, I remember it was right before spring break, and I was taking a midterm, and my professor was like, "We're not coming back." And I was like, "What do you mean we're not coming back?" So it was just an interesting time. I graduated, and then I was like, let me get my master's. And so I went
Ooh.
to SUNY Albany online for city planning. I've always found cities very fascinating, and
Yeah.
just the history, how food, culture, music makes a place. And,
Yeah.
every time I would go to New York, I would just feel alive, right? This vibrant energy. When I would go to Boston, I would kind of feel like, I don't know, historical, if that makes sense. Like, let me learn about New
I
England.
think
And
of Benjamin Franklin.
yeah.
Whenever I think of Boston, I think of Benjamin Franklin.
And that's the thing, like the Boston Tea Party, like Paul
Yes.
Revere, like I'm like, okay, let me learn about that. And like Philly is like super, in my opinion, gritty, but it's like,
Yeah.
similar to like Will Smith's song. There's something like jiggy about it. It's like gritty and there's something like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
of like Mac Miller for some reason. I
Oh
don't know if he
yeah.
has any connection. Again, I don't even think I've been to, although, oh, I did go to Philadelphia one time.
Oh.
I was like 7 or 8 years old,
Oh.
and we went on a ghost tour
Love
through
that.
the city,
Mhm.
and my parents were like, "Oh, history, hell yeah!" And I'm
Mhm.
like, "I'm gonna die. Like a
Yeah.
ghost is gonna get me."
Yeah.
And I swear to God, the hotel we stayed in was
Oh no.
known for being haunted.
Yes,
And my
That's
parents
what
were
I'm
like,
like.
"Yeah." And I was like, "What? Why are we here?" And when I just have this memory of us coming back to the hotel room after a night, whatever we're doing,
Mhm.
and I had like 10 American Girl dolls, okay? So I brought one
Oh.
with me.
Yeah.
And she had moved.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe it was the maid, but in
Yeah,
my
but
mind, I was
yeah.
like, that was a ghost.
Yep.
A
I
ghost
would
moved
have
my
been same
things.
way, same way.
That's so funny. Anyway, how did you move out to Colorado? It sounds like you kind of just sent it.
Yeah, I really did. I just always thought I would be out of Albany sooner than I was. Like, I turned 21 a little before the pandemic, and
Mhm.
then it was just like living at home, going to school, and I was upset. Like the inner child in me was like, "Yo, you actually can make decisions now, and you're deciding just to like stay home and not live the life that you always dreamed of." And it was one of the first times I think in my life where I could feel my soul kind of like calling out, and I was
Mhm.
ignoring it for a while. I was like, "No, we have to get this done. We have to get this done." Finally, when I graduated with my master's and started working, I feel like the call just got stronger and stronger. I was becoming very upset. You could see it. Like, I gained a lot of weight. I just
Mm.
looked kind of miserable. And so I kept visiting cities, like, could I move here? Could I see myself here? And it was one of those things where it's like I see all sides of a situation. And so I was just like, you know what? Let's just let the universe choose for me.
Mm.
So I applied to a whole bunch of jobs in different cities,
Cool.
didn't really hear too much. Um, and then one of my past roommate, I met him when I went to a rave solo in Boston.
Love.
We were it was Chommy too. It was
Oh
such a
my
good
God.
show. Such a good
Oh,
show.
that would I love Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
we were
God.
dancing, we were vibing, and usually I don't know if this is surprising, but I tend to be closed off sometimes. I just like to like get in the zone and really connect with the music. But his name is Tucker. Tucker and I were dancing, and I was like, I should ask him like for his number or like his Instagram or something.
Mhm.
So I did, and we were talking and talking, and we were just talking about growing up in the Northeast
Yeah.
and things like that. And I was gonna go see a show in Boston. I would say that summer, and I was like, hey, like, can I see you? We should go to the show together. I think it was Dr. Fresh too, which I love Dr.
I
Fresh.
love Dr. Fresh.
And right?
So fun. So fun.
And he goes, "Oh, I moved to Denver like a month ago, so I don't live in Boston." I was like, "Whoa, okay." So I was a little upset about that, but I was like, "It's fine." But then he texted me a few months later in the fall, and he goes, "Hey, my roommate is moving out. I know you've always wanted to live in a bigger city. Do you want to
Oh,
move into our house?" And I just took that and ran, and I said, "You know what?
this is my calling.
This is my calling." Like,
Yeah.
I met him one time at a rave, seeing Chami, and
Yeah.
then we've talked ever since. And then I'm telling him like I'm upset with upstate New York, all this stuff. The room opened up. I know somebody. I don't know him
Mhm.
super well. So I just took a chance. I was like, this is the time to like live for you. And when
You're
I was
running on
talking,
vibes.
right? Like I was just like, my soul was screaming to get out. I just remember being so upset on my 25th birthday that I wasn't living in New York or LA or like Miami, places like that, Denver, Austin.
Mhm.
So I was like, let's just go. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really inspiring too. Like
Mhm.
in it feels like especially in today's climate of all the craziness going on, I feel like there are more excuses now than ever
Mhm.
to stay home with your parents, save
Mhm.
money, the job market sucks. Like
Right.
the world is just recovering from COVID. I don't care what you say, this summer felt like the first real summer since
Wow.
COVID hit, in
That's
my
the
opinion,
truth.
right?
No,
Like
that's like I'm just coming like that's just such a realization to me. You're right though.
also, I think this is the busiest summer I've had since COVID, so
Yeah.
that's probably another reason.
Things are blooming, I think.
Yeah,
That's cool though.
definitely.
Mhm.
And where along in this timeline did you decide that you wanted to not just, go to raves anymore, but actually be a part of it, learn music,
Mm.
DJ, all of that?
Yeah, so I actually got my first DJ deck when I was a sophomore in high school. It
Cool.
was, I guess, to start back. My dad used to play house music all the time. He was a pizza delivery driver, and he
Love
used to
that.
play like Frankie Knuckles, right, like the
Mhm.
classics. And so I just remember sitting there as a kid and being like, I don't hear this music on the radio.
Mhm.
And he would burn so many CDs, and it was just like him and I in the car. And this was like the only time in my opinion, that we hung out together.
Yeah.
And so I remember going to high school and I really loved hip hop and rap. I've always loved music in general.
Mhm.
And it was during the YMCMB era, Lil
Yes.
Wayne, Nicki
Yes,
Minaj, Big
yes.
Sean, like that sort of thing,
What an
Drake.
era.
Yeah, like when Click came out, Mercy, like when the group, and I was like, oh, I love the power that I
Yeah.
feel. You're creating a story, I think, like as a DJ, but it's
Mhm.
also like there are just some songs that make you feel something, but it sucks when the person associated is not
Yeah.
the greatest.
Do
Yeah.
you where do you fall in the whole, like, being able to separate the artist from the art in that whole debate?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's definitely per individual. But it's interesting because as I've built like my Outlier brand recently, I've been hyper fixating on Michael Jackson and just like his music videos, the way he could tell a story, like
Mhm.
his stage presence, his interviews, his outfits, right? Like
Yeah.
all this stuff, but I also am looking at it from like a place of like trauma. Like he was in the industry since he was a kid. Like I was able to choose this, right? It's not like my parents are like, you're going to become a DJ and I'm going to put you in the studio and you better be like Martin Garrix and pop off at 17, right? It was,
Yeah.
okay, I want you to be successful in whatever you'd like, but like, go to school, get an education. I had, a childhood. So it's just interesting because I think as artists, it's like, I don't want to say every artist has trauma, but I think there's a reason why we're able to tell a story in an art in such a beautiful way.
Mhm.
So it depends on what you do. It's like if you're harming others purposefully, that's where I'm like, ooh. But then there are other times where I'm just like, well, when does the cycle stop?
Yeah,
If you're
like,
in
where's the
it,
line?
yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, the Jackson 5, I feel like Michael Jackson had it the worst, right? Like
Yeah. But he was the most successful,
exactly.
so yeah.
Yeah, so it's just
Interesting.
interesting. It
Yeah.
just it depends for me artist to artist, individual per individual, but
Mhm.
I think success, does a lot to you, and then also, like, there's a lot of power plays that we
Oh,
see,
yeah.
right? And we could get that could be a whole other
Oh,
podcast, but,
yeah.
like, there's so many power plays in the music industry and acting and, we saw that with the Me Too movement and everything
Mhm.
like that. So it's just it's hard to put yourself out there, be successful, and then also not be taken advantage of.
Oh
So
my
it's a lot of
gosh.
different aspects.
Oh, yeah, and, like, honestly, I've found the best way to kind of stay grounded is to find a mentor or,
Mhm.
like, it doesn't even have to be, like, someone touring and a successful artist and making
Mhm.
money, like, it could be someone who you know is just better at music production than
Mhm.
you, you
Right.
know? So, like, finding someone else, like you were saying earlier, like attracts like, I
Mhm.
think that's kind of the best just, like, general advice I've found and can
Mhm.
give to people of, like, how to navigate because
Mhm.
this is, like, the epitome of not following the traditional path,
Mhm.
and we have a lot of similarities because
Mhm.
I went to college, like,
Mhm.
I came out here from Hawaii because I was like, "I live on a literal island, like,
Yeah.
I need to go to a fucking concert, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
I need to go shopping at a
Right.
mall," and the first time I ever drove on a highway was in 2020.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, there aren't even highways.
Wow.
So anyway, I talk about this on like every podcast, but yeah, that's kind of how I got out here and I graduated in 21, so
Mhm.
like right after and I'm grateful I got to have an in-person graduation, but we were
Mhm.
still like 6 feet apart with masks on and
Right.
like you could only take it off to like shake the dean's hand where I'm
Mm.
like, why are we even shaking your hand?
Right.
Like the whole irony of all of it. That's a whole other
Yeah,
podcast too,
yeah.
but
Yeah, literally.
yeah. So that's so cool. So you got a deck in high school.
Mhm.
I also love that about your dad. That's really
Mhm.
sweet because like I
Mhm.
have very traditional parents, like classic rock,
Mhm.
dad rock kind of music I grew up
Yeah.
with, and trying to show slash explain EDM to them, it's like a different language, and they
Mhm.
try. They
Right.
do try.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine. Did you just like DJ for, however many years? When did you finally decide, like, oh, I'm going to do this?
I remember I think it was that year that I got my DJ deck. The documentary Under the Electric Sky came out, which was about EDC Las Vegas and how it impacted people's lives. And it was a time in my life where I felt very alone.
Yeah.
You know, being in upstate New York, it's gotten better now, but I was one of two Latinas in my class. It was predominantly Caucasian. And so you're trying to connect with your culture, but you're also trying to connect to the American culture. And so when I watched this documentary, there were people whose lives were changed by going to music festivals.
Mhm.
They finally felt like they belonged somewhere. They looked happy. They had connection and
Mhm.
community. So I was like, let me go to a rave. Like, let me see what this is about because
Yeah.
you don't know until you go. And I remember it was Foam and Glow in like
Foam and glow.
25 20 no, yeah, 2015, 2014. And I wasn't old enough to go, so I had to have one of my mom's friend's daughters come with me. And so we went to the Armory in Albany. They don't do shows anymore, but they would bring people in like David Guetta, Skrillex, like they brought in big names. So we went and I remember walking in and tearing up. Like, I remember just seeing people dance however they wanted to on the dance floor, dress however they wanted, express themselves. Nobody was judging. People were hyping each other up. People were actually connecting to the music, because that's also what I was missing, was people connecting. And
Mhm.
that's honestly the moment that I knew. Like, I was like, whatever energy the DJ is putting out, the floor reacts. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling a part of this community. And so I was like, okay, like, we're going to do this like for real now. Like, you have your community, you feel a part of something, but I wanted to be the person creating that vibe for everybody.
Wow, and you even know, I mean, what, that's like 10 years ago now?
Mhm.
So you've been on the path, and I'm sure that's been even a little inner war within yourself too,
Mhm.
while also pursuing school and your
Mhm.
degrees. Did you use your degrees at all, like in any jobs or anything?
Yeah, so I've been in the restaurant industry for like 10 years, so that's been like on and
Same,
off.
girl,
Yeah,
same.
so you know,
Same,
how like I was just
same.
like,
Yeah.
bussing, hosting, serving, all of that.
Being on your feet for 10 years,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's a tough industry, right? And so it was like I was going to school, I was in the restaurant industry, and similar to a lot of people in our generation, it's like I had so many internships, like so many, and I was getting frustrated. I applied to full-time job, full-time job, full-time job, and I was just like, how many internships do I need? I have 4 at this point, right?
Yeah.
And so finally I got hired by the city of Albany, and I worked for local government for a year and
Cool.
a half, which was cool. Because I have always had this idea of making Albany better, right? Especially when it's your hometown and you see it
Mhm.
hurting.
Yeah.
But it also made me realize why projects and development were slow. And then also I
Red tape.
experienced like government mistrust, right? Of I would be at a neighborhood meeting telling residents that I'm trying to help them improve their lives, and they go beyond not believing you, right? They are like, because they've been wronged by the government time and time again,
So
right?
what you're saying is that you lived out the plot of Parks and Recreation.
Yes. 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 Literally, we used to quote that all the time, like
Oh.
going to public meetings. Like,
Mhm.
it's difficult, but it also is nice when you do have the wins of like, there was this bike trail we were working on called the South End Connector that connected 2 other bike trails. It was gonna have murals underneath the bridge and things of that nature. So it was really cool to see that come alive. But it was also very stressful. We were understaffed, under budgeted, under resourced. And I was like, wow, like I would think about work when I would get home. Like, I didn't have
Yeah.
time to work on music. I didn't have time to work on
Yeah.
my DJ mixes. And so I remember just feeling defeated, but that was the moment where I decided like something had to change, because I was like, I don't
Mhm.
want to do this like for the rest of my life. Like, I love city planning and I think I'm good at it, but I want to be happy in the place that I'm in. And so um that's when I decided to join Cosmic Academy, which we could get into later. But when I moved here with no job. And so it
Mm,
was scary. It was an emotional move, I'll say that. I had like
sure.
$1,000 saved up. I was like, let's go. Racked
Yeah.
up a good amount of credit card
Tough.
debt.
Yeah.
And I moved in January, which, as you know, is like the worst time for restaurant industry jobs. So
Yes.
I
But you
remember.
do get cheaper rent, to be
Yes.
fair.
Yes, exactly. It balanced
It
out.
balances out.
Yeah, and I had 2 other roommates, and, they were understanding and such, but I just remember applying to job after job after job, and then I started printing out resumes, going to restaurants in person. Um,
Oh, girl, I've been there. I've been
yeah,
there.
people say to apply online, but it's like I was on Indeed, LinkedIn, probably some other ones where I would be applying to, I would probably say 25 jobs a day, somewhere around there. And then finally I got a restaurant industry job, wasn't making enough money there. So then I was like, you know what? I have 2 degrees. Let's use it. So I applied to a whole bunch of city planning jobs. And thankfully in May, I landed one for a local government outside of Denver.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been
Yay.
great. And it's refreshed my mindset toward planning. Planning out here is so different than upstate New York.
Really?
Yeah, it's so different,
Just
but
like in what way, or is it kind of like complicated if you're not a part of it?
I would just say in an older industrial Northeast city, it's 95% built out. So imagine you're playing SimCity and like somebody paused it and you press
Okay,
play.
got
And
it.
imagine you could only have 4 input on 4 buildings, and then
Mhm,
everything else you have to reuse.
mhm.
Whereas here, especially on the outlying municipalities, like there's a lot of green fields, there's a lot
Mhm.
of like open land, and
Yeah,
so you could do a lot, right?
you
You could
really
actually
can.
implement parks and trails and open space, water sewer lines. Like you could arrange it and design it in the
Mhm.
way that um, is standard or for your community. So it's just interesting because it's like it almost feels like you're playing SimCity but a new game rather than
Yeah.
playing where somebody else left off.
I love that
Yeah.
comparison. It's so real. Do you know anyone who does Denver city planning? Because I would just love to pick their brain.
Mhm.
I have so many complaints, and I have
You're
so
like, "I have
many
a list."
solutions to those complaints,
I
okay, to
know.
be fair. To be fair.
Yes, and at least I think that's the thing is people don't realize land use, and, like, when I tell them city planning, people are like, "What do you do?" And it's like, land use determines a lot of things in your life, your neighborhood, what amenities
Yeah,
are around. I don't know anybody who plans in Denver. I've actually applied to Denver so many times before I moved here, and it just never
didn't work
stuck.
out.
It didn't work out, which I'm grateful because they just did mass layoffs. So, yeah, in August, I think they laid off over I don't know the number, but they laid off a good amount of people.
Over the last year, it sounds
Mhm.
like you've really been putting in a lot of effort, maybe over
Mhm.
the last 2 years since moving here. So,
Mhm.
how has your music project grown since moving here?
Oh, wow. It's grown in so many different ways. In ways that I could never, like, imagine, I guess. So when I first moved here, that was the intention behind the move was to work on my music production and DJ career. I wanted to be in a space where I had no family, no friends, like pretty much no distractions, and just utilize my time for music. And so my goal was to finish a track every 3 weeks when I moved here.
Hell yeah.
Especially after Cosmic Academy, that really helped me hone in on music production of a lot of artists, no matter what kind of vehicle you use, we have projects it's like that are half done or 75% done or they stay in the vault and it's like, yeah, that's great that you make music, but if you don't release it or you don't put it out there, it's, your brand or your vision isn't going to grow. So,
Totally.
I just was like um focus on music production and then I was like, let me go to open decks. Like there's all these open decks in
Yeah.
Denver, especially when I first moved here. And like, I DJ'd for what, 8 years before then? 8 or 7 or
Mhm.
something like that?
Sure, you're pretty good
Yeah,
by the time.
but the wild part is I never DJ'd on CDJs, and I remember being so nervous and
Wait, what did you
so
have?
I had a controller, a DD,
Oh,
yeah, an SR2, yeah,
I'm gonna look up what that looks like.
yeah,
I love that tech.
yeah,
All kinds of tech looking at
mhm.
that. That's like
Yeah, and I would bring, like, the SR2 everywhere, and
mhm,
so I never DJ'd on CDJs, so I remember I think it was at your mom's house, and they
mhm.
had open decks, and I was so nervous. I moved in January, and I signed up the last week in February, I believe, so I was
I
like, "Let's
love
just"
that.
yeah, I was like, "Let me just
You
go on
fully sent
YouTube."
it. You were
Yeah.
in, like, big sender mode.
Yeah.
You're like, "I don't have a job, but I'm going to
Yeah.
Denver because I know this
Uh-huh.
cool guy.
Yeah.
I don't wanna know anyone. I
Hey.
wanna do music production, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna get on stage." Like,
Yes.
that's so
Yeah.
badass. That's so cool.
Mhm.
So how did the open decks go?
Oh my god, it was so sick. I still have the videos. It was 20 minutes, and I remember I got like one of the first 2 slots. Everybody else filled in like the middle to the end of the night. And I remember just being like, damn, I wish I got a different time. But I had my outfit ready, I had my songs ready. I remember going up there and the guy before me, his name is actually Max Rose. He's another DJ. So thank you, Max, for helping me.
Shout out, Max.
And I remember being intimidated because I'm like, oh no, like he's trying to help me figure this out. And then once I got into it, I was like, oh, this is just like Serato, like
Yes.
we'll find.
Yeah.
And once I locked in, like it was so much fun. I had a good time. The stage presence, it was like the adrenaline was fueling
Mhm.
like the set. And I remember getting off stage and people were just like, that was not your first time on CDJs. I was like, yeah, it was. And they're like, you played bangers. And
Yeah.
honestly, everybody that was there has been so influential in my DJ journey now. So for any DJs out there that are debating how to get out there, I would just say go to open decks because you don't know who you're going to meet.
Mhm.
It's a good way to put yourself out there. It's nice to work on the equipment because CDJs are expensive as all hell. And
Really
so,
though.
yeah, it went so well, and I remember being, like, very proud of myself of, like, "Wow, we put ourselves out there, we went on stage, and you conquered your fear of DJing on
Yeah.
CDJs." So,
Yeah, oh my
yeah.
gosh, yeah. I've played, like, decks with CDJs
Mm.
attached to them.
Mhm.
It's, in theory, the same, but then when you walk up and you are getting on the CDJs, you're like, "Okay, I know the play button's in the same place as my
Mhm.
deck at home,
Mhm.
but the filter knob is in a different spot." So
Yep.
it's like the muscle memory is just not there,
Mhm.
and yeah, it takes a little while, but that's awesome. Congrats,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
I'm sure it was intimidating at first being in a room full of other DJs, but
Mhm.
I've found those are some of the most understanding, supportive crowds
Yes.
because they know exactly what you're going through.
Mhm.
So, yeah, sometimes I get nervous, more nervous to play in front of like my friends.
Right. Yeah, because it's like they don't know, and I think that's the thing is,
Yeah.
like, having like, supportive people of, like, you know, accidentally, like, loading something into the wrong deck or the technology not working with you
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be, and I think, we all make mistakes, but it just seems as though because I don't know if you feel this way, but, like, almost feels like sometimes with other musicians, if they make a mistake, it's like hee hee ha ha. But for DJs, people are just harder on them. And so it's just like you mess up and it's like, whoa, like, sorry. But we also have like a really supportive community
Mhm.
overall. So like
Yeah.
I've seen shows where like, even very successful DJs will make a mistake and everybody's like, whoa, like, no, you're good, keep
Yeah.
going. So
Right. And
mhm.
also too, I like when you mess up a transition, I don't know, like I've definitely done that in like a room full of people.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, I'm like, fuck, I totally fucked. And people
Mhm.
are like, I didn't even notice. Like,
Right?
what? So
Right. That's
you
the other
really
thing
never know.
too.
Yep.
Yes, it's so true.
Yeah. Have you gotten
Yeah.
to play at Beacon?
I have, yeah.
Okay, I am remembering now that is the first set of CDJs I got to play on.
Oh,
So
that's
that
sick.
was really fun. And the more you play on them at different venues, the more you get a feel for like what good CDJs feel like
Yeah,
too,
that's
which is
true.
crazy. It's
Mm,
kind of like driving a compact car compared to
mhm.
an SUV compared to a
Right.
sports car. Like they
Yeah.
all do the same thing, but you got to know how to properly use them,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Well, that's awesome. So when did you come up with the name? Like, where did
Mm.
that fall into place?
Yeah, so my first name was actually Victim of Fate. That was like VOF. It was very
Sounds
dark.
very punk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just because, like, at that time, I was, like, late high school, early college. I just felt as though I had no choices in my life, right?
Mhm.
Like, I couldn't choose where I was born, my parents, my childhood,
Yeah.
things that happened. I was just like, I just feel like a victim of fate. Like, I just feel like I'm going through life and just things are coming at me and there's nothing I could do. And I remember my second year in college, um, I worked with this woman named Ryan. She's really cool. She's also an artist, so shout out to Ryan.
Shout out Ryan.
Um, and her and I were talking about she does singing, songwriting, I do producing, and she was like, "Do you really wanna be a victim, though? Do you really wanna be known as that?" And I was like, "Hmm, okay." I was like, "You're right, like, do I wanna be known as a victim?" And so I marinated with that idea for a while, and then I was just like, "What am I? What have I always felt?" And I was like, "I'm not a misfit," because I
Mhm.
think a misfit is different than an outlier,
Totally.
and so I was like, "I don't feel like that." I was like, "I just feel, like, othered." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Who else kinda feels, like, othered?" And I think that's kinda where I don't know, just one of those things where it's like, you're driving in your car, you're taking a shower, an idea pops in your head. And I was like, DJ Outlier. Like an outlier, I think we were learning about statistics too in one of my classes. And I was
Uh,
just like, it was
totally.
so interesting seeing like all of the points on the XY
Mhm.
like chart and then just seeing the
The
outlier.
one like all the way out there.
Yeah.
That's such a cool way to
Mhm.
look at it. Like
Mhm.
I definitely wouldn't have come to that conclusion.
Mhm.
So when did you come up with that name?
I'd probably say sophomore or junior year of
Okay.
college. Yeah, of undergrad.
Good on you for
Yeah.
like sticking with it because
Mhm.
I know especially when you're so young and everyone's telling you you have your whole life ahead of you and you
Mhm.
haven't gone to college, you haven't
Mhm.
graduated yet, like it's easy to be tempted by so many other things going on at that point
Mhm.
in your life. So That's awesome that you've stuck with it for so long,
Thank
and
you.
that's so cool. So,
Mhm.
when did you start producing?
Yeah, so production started, I would say, early college as well. I
Mhm.
remember downloading Logic and just,
Nice.
like, messing around with it because, a few years before that, shout out Borgore, I met Borgore at a show in upstate New York,
Yes.
and we were able to go on stage and talk to him, and I was like, "Oh my
So
gosh, I look up to
cool,
him, like,
yeah.
let's go." This was right when, like, Forbes came out, like yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
a big
and
record,
Nympho, like, when those
yes.
tracks came out.
Yes.
So I remember talking to
I have, like,
him.
full body chills
Yeah,
thinking about it,
I
like,
know, it feels like
it's
so long
so
ago,
good.
and I was like, "Hey, like, I'm a DJ, like, what advice would you give to a DJ
Mhm.
who wants to be successful?" And he looked at me, he goes, "Produce your own music." And this is a whole debate we could get into, that's a
Yeah.
whole other thing, but I was like, "Okay." I was like, "You're right." So I downloaded Logic, taught myself for a long time, and I was actually looking back at some of my projects. I made, like, an EP in college, and, like, I listened back to
Hell
it, and
yeah.
I was like, "Technical ability, meh. Ideas, though?" I was like,
Yeah.
I could hear what I'm going for."
Yeah.
And so I produced on and off. Honestly, it took me forever to finish a song, and I think that's why I had the epiphany, later in life to join Cosmic Academy because I'm like, there has to be a better way. When you open a DAW, it's just so intimidating. There's so many things in there, and you don't realize all of the little details that make a song sound good. And so I think after Cosmic, like my production got so much better, but I'm grateful for the time that I self taught because it just allowed my ideas to flow in such like a raw way instead of
Mhm.
being like, "Oh, like where's my kick at? Let me open like the channel EQ and see where all these
Mhm.
frequencies are at." It was just like, "No, this is like my idea."
Mhm.
And like it was all kind of like weird, ethereal kind of bass house stuff without
Mhm.
knowing it.
Love
But
that
yeah,
vibe too.
yeah.
Like, it sounds like you started out with house.
Mhm.
When did your bass era, like, have you gone through a bass era? You mostly stick to house? Like, it's kind of hard being multi-genre because so many people want you to just pick a niche.
Mhm. It really is. I feel like when I first started DJing, it was like all types of genres, different vibes and energies. And then with production, I was like, it was very much like Twilight Zone, like ethereal sort of
Mhm.
stuff. But during this time, I loved, and I still miss it, like OG trap, like Yellow Claw,
Yes,
Flostradamus, Boombox
yes.
Cartel, like going on YouTube and looking up Trap City, like seeing
Stick
all the new remixes, like on Vine too, like just
Mhm.
the whole thing, right?
Vine,
I know,
oh my
I know. I'm like,
god.
bring back Vine.
Dude, I found Stooky Sound, I think,
Oh
in,
my
like,
gosh.
2014.
Yes.
So, do you mostly produce house music?
Yeah, I would say right now I'm focusing on bass house, but I've dabbled in Jersey Club. That's always fun. Baile funk. I just made,
Mm,
well, a few months ago made a baile funk track. That was a good time.
cool.
But lately I've been thinking about bringing like the OG trap kind of vibe back. I've been putting a lot of my own lyrics on my track, so I feel like with trap, if you, I don't know, kind of have like a cool like rap section with a heavy drop, like that would
Yeah.
be sick. Yeah.
Girl, we need to
Mhm.
collab.
Yeah.
We need to
Yes, that would
collab.
be sick. We
I've
mhm.
also wanted to make bass house as
Mhm.
well. So, yeah, I love that. And I love throwing in like a good bass house track. I think a lot more artists are experimenting, especially I live in the bass scene, so I don't know
Mhm.
much about like the house realm, though there's a
Mhm.
lot of overlap, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I do love that people are like kind of stepping out of the traditional I'm just playing 140 tonight. I'm
Mhm.
just playing bass house. Like,
Mhm.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite shows that you've played so far?
Oh, I would have to say when I opened for Tokimonsta at Club Vinyl,
Girl!
that like
I
I
love her!
that
What a bad
honestly yeah,
bitch!
no, literally, she oh my gosh, it was one of the shows that I was just like I always take hours to crate dig, but it was one of those where it took, like, weeks, and
Mhm.
it made me feel like when I first started DJing of, like, I the reason why I started was I just liked finding good music, like, I would go on
Yeah.
YouTube and go down the rabbit hole and be like,
Mhm.
"So add,"
Oh my god,
and
all of
so
the, like, reposted tracks with like a picture in the background or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
like all of those repost accounts, but like they
Yes.
exposed us to so much music.
They did. They really did, and I just, I felt like that again as I was looking because Tokimonsta is interesting. She is in a league of her own of, like,
She really
production, right?
is.
Like,
Yeah.
if I opened for, let's just say, like, a tech house artist, I'd be like, "Oh, perfect. Time to play tech house."
Mhm.
But she has very, like, ethereal,
Yeah.
atmospheric songs, then she has experimental hip hop, then she has some
Yeah.
club remixes,
Yeah.
and it's like, "Whoa, like, where do I go?" So, honestly, when I was curating that set, I was just like, let me see what I think like attracts her vibe. Like I usually do this anyways. I don't really pay attention to genre. I just listen to the sound and I try to see if I can envision that in the journey that I'm trying to create. And so I remember I got my hair done. I had this
Yes.
beautiful like I allow kind of my intuition to tell me what to wear, and the colors that were screaming to me were black and gold. Something about
Mm.
that night was just screaming
Yeah.
that sort of outfit, so I wore that, and I just remember being so nervous, but I told myself, "Go in sober," right? I feel like sometimes you
Totally.
get free drinks,
Yeah.
you have a drink to take the edge off, but I was like, "Be nervous again."
Yeah.
Like, that is okay,
Well, because 'cause
and
you're excited. Like, it's so
exactly.
easy to focus on, like, the anxious part of being
Mm,
nervous, but on the
mhm.
other side of the coin, like, it's excitement, and so you
Yes.
gotta, like, lean into that part of it.
Mhm, and I think that's exactly how I took it of, like, nervousness and excitement are the flip side of the coin, so
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm excited, recorded my set, and we hired a photographer, the other opener and I, shout out Soundkist, and I just remember halfway in that set smiling, and I think the photographer took a picture of me at this moment. Every time I see this picture, I just smile. I remember smiling at the CDJs and thinking to myself, yeah, I need to be doing this for the rest of my life. It was like
Yeah.
the time where I felt my soul light up and come
Mhm.
alive. And every track I played, I almost just see myself as the vehicle for the music.
Mhm.
And I just, I haven't felt like my soul come alive like that in a long time. And it was just
Yeah.
such a beautiful moment. And I had a lot of people there supporting me. And I don't know, it's just one of those moments where I was just like, that all your hard work is paying off in that moment, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's so
yeah, all the late nights, all like
Mhm.
the production, like, I have so many songs that are unreleased because they're just technically, in my opinion, not good. But it's like, um, I think after that night, I realized I needed to do that, and I stayed for Soundkissed, and then I saw Toki set. She was great, and then I stayed to meet her, and
Mhm.
she is the most ethereal and real person I've met. She
Wow.
is so sick. She was so funny too.
Yeah.
But
I have
she
to look up a picture of her.
yeah, she's so sick, and, we were talking, and she's been through her hardships, I don't wanna say it's an she's diagnosed with a incurable disease,
Mhm.
basically, that affects her nerves, so I respect that she still does what she loves even though she knows that she's diagnosed with this, and if you read up about her, I think she lost, like, her ability to write, like, she lost motor function, and so she, like, used that kind of as, like, a jumping off point, at least from when I was reading about her to like for her music in a lot of different senses.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, so she owns her own record label, and her and I were talking, and I told her I
Wow.
produced, and she was like, I'm glad, basically that there's another woman producing because she's like, when I was doing it, there was really nobody, and I thought about that, and it's like I still think we'll still
Such an
like far
ethereal.
and few between. I think only out of all producers, 7% are women, right? DJs, I think it's getting
Oh.
better, but producers, it's 7%. And so I still think it's low, but at least, we have Toki to look up to, or
Mhm.
Nostalgics, or,
Yeah.
Dev,
Mhm.
and so she was like, send me your music. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is such like a
Ah!
beautiful like moment of like, now I feel ready to send her my music. I think if I would have met her a year or two ago, my music wouldn't have been up to par. But she's just such a beautiful soul and very inspiring. So that was probably,
Aw,
yeah,
I
such a
love
special show.
that. Very
Yeah.
cool. So I just have a couple last questions for you, and then we
Yeah.
can, go get some food.
Mhm.
All right. So I love asking people what is your dream lineup? If you could curate one lineup for a night, you can headline, you can open, you don't even have to be on it. Like, what is your dream? Let's say we could pick 4 to 5 artists for a night.
Ooh, okay. I feel like a lot of people don't know this about me, but I love minimal slash deep tech.
Oh my god.
So Beltran, I
Yeah.
listen to Smack Yo like so many times. Smack Yo and Moonlight,
I have to look
like
this up.
he is so good. There's just something about the repetitiveness, but he keeps it interesting, but the repetitiveness of his bass lines that is so sick. So Beltran would be cool. Um Nostalgics, of course. I look up to her
Mhm.
so much. Just her bass house tracks are sick, so much fun.
Yeah.
Like she puts her own vocals on her tracks, which is amazing.
We're
Um
doing it all out here,
mhm.
okay?
Literally.
Damn.
I love her. Yeah, I look up to her a lot. And somebody else who really has inspired me because of his genre bending ability is Wax Motif.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
love Wax
love
Motif.
Wax Motif.
Yeah.
He's just so sick. Just I don't know, just the way his like career has gone, his music, and seeing him live has just been amazing. So those would definitely be the three. I'm trying to think of who else because I feel like I listen to so many people,
Right.
and then it's just like, whoa, hold on. Um,
I know it's kinda hard to
ooh,
pick,
it
but
is
I mean, they don't even have to be the same genre,
right.
honestly, but
I would probably say Unique. She's a Jersey club DJ and producer, and her sets are so energetic. Her songs are energetic. She's another one that puts her own vocals on her tracks. Um, yeah, she plays a lot of like Baltimore club, Miami bass, and I
Mhm.
feel like out here it's foreign, but then when people hear it, they absolutely love it. So I think
Yeah.
Unique would be sick. Um, who else? Oh, there's like so many people. And I would probably say just to like I don't know, switch it up is Audrey Nuna. I think she is such a cool like rapper and lyricist and like her outfits are cool. So I feel like those would be the 5.
Ooh.
Very all over the place lineup. Honestly describes
No, I
how my
know.
brain works.
I love
Um
that, though. That's
yeah.
very, like, I'd say, like, you're that's very artistic of you,
Mhm.
like, I don't know, it's just always fun to hear what they're inspired by and,
Mhm.
like, versus the music that they make, because
Right.
you like, earlier, you mentioned Michael Jackson, I was like, I
Mhm.
mean, valid,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
valid, and when you started going into it, but, like, I never would've guessed,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's a
So,
good point.
well, that sounds like a fire lineup. I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
check out some of those artists because I haven't
Yeah.
heard of them. If you could switch flash drives with a DJ for a night, who would it be?
Oh, damn, that's a tough one. Ooh. Mm.
And they're
There's so
also
many.
playing your music, by the way.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who I've seen live who like, oh, you know what? It's gonna be an oddball one, but I think he is such a great DJ. And I saw him live, and the way he was able to move from genre to genre was amazing. So I'm gonna have to say Getter. I saw Getter in
Okay.
Philadelphia, and he absolutely killed it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like he would do a really good job of, like, being able to mix different genres, but I also would, like, love to see his USB and be like, "Let's go, like, let's see what, like,
Yes.
heavy tracks are on here." He's
What are
another
you
one. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so good, yeah.
Love.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah,
Oh, man, well, I could talk to you for many, many more hours, but we have some very important things to do after this, so
we do.
before, ending it, do you have any community shout outs for anyone?
Oh. I just wanna say thank you for everybody who's, supported me, put me on lineups, Java Jams,
Mhm.
Misfits Entertainment, Dub Wub Colorado. There's
Yep.
probably so many people that I'm missing. Incubator,
Yep.
um
Oh, that's so cool you did a set for them.
yeah,
That's
Incubator's
awesome.
sick.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Gramsci's house was a lot of fun. When Para Nosotros was a thing, I'm not sure if it still is, but they would always put me in the Latin house lineup, so that was a
Of
lot of
course.
fun. Yeah.
Love that, love that.
So shout out to
Represent.
everybody, yeah, who's believed in me and had, a good time and has also inspired me. So it's just been a beautiful journey and honestly, if you're ever debating producing or DJing, I just say go for it because you're only here once. So do it up.
Exactly.
Mhm.
YOLO. Let's fucking
Yes,
go.
live your best life.
Yes. Cool. Well, how can we best support you?
Oh. I would probably just say, follow me along the journey. I think I'm gonna be better at documenting that of trusting the process and, listen to my music now, before I get to a certain stage, just like
Yeah.
not 100% with my production, but I could hear the improvement and um the
Oh,
the improvement over time.
Clem,
So I would say
just use the door. There's a dog door, but she refuses to use it because she's a lazy.
I'm
No,
dying.
no, like just wait for it. She's gonna scream.
Oh
I
my
know,
God.
I know. Come here. Come on.
Oh
I
my
know. I know.
She has a little bell. That's so
Hi,
cute.
baby.
Oh, you're so cute.
This is Clementine.
Love that name.
That
So
was her name
adorable.
when I got her, and I met her, and I was like, "You're a Clementine." Like I
Yeah.
can't change that.
Oh.
Anyway, so sorry to interrupt,
No, it's
but
all good.
best way to support you, listen to your music. Is there anywhere we should follow you? Like, do you have music we can buy? Like, I know, did you just release a set with Incubator?
I did, yeah. So they have a YouTube set posted for me. Follow me on Instagram, DJ Outlier. Same on TikTok, DJ Outlier or Outlier Music, but you could probably still find me at DJ Outlier. But I'm hoping to have a few tracks signed by record labels soon to purchase. Yeah,
Oh,
so keep a lookout for that.
oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Those
I
are the
love
goals.
that.
Yeah, so it'll be good.
You're doing it.
Yes, keep a lookout. That's
You're
why I'm
doing
like,
the thing.
yes, exactly. Follow me
Oh,
along the journey. And yeah, if you ever, want to talk to me after a set, let me know. I love connecting with people. So I really do appreciate y'all.
hell yes. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you for coming on my podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, and I would love to have you back. Let's go do some beats and eats.
Yes, let's do
That's
it
a wrap
up.
on this
Yay.
week's episode of 303 BPM. Thank you so much to our guest for coming on, and thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, leave a review, share with a friend, and follow along with us on Instagram at 303BPM Pod, on YouTube at 303BPM Podcast, and 303BPM Podcast on all streaming platforms. Until next time, I'll catch you where the bass hits the hardest.
Look at the way I'm working. Look at the way I'm working. I'm moving, I'm driving, I'm living, I'm shining. Look at the way I'm working. I'm moving, I'm driving, I'm living, I'm shining. Look at the way I'm working. Look at the way I'm working. Working. Look at the way I'm working. Look at the way she working.